My name is Laura, and tonight I'm going to talk about the 3 powerful enemies that are holding you back from getting that extra zero in your business. First, a disclaimer and some micro commitments that I will ask from you. Here's how you're going to get the most out of this talk. First, I want to tap into your biggest leverage point, which David spoke to. It requires us getting a little bit deep, a little bit vulnerable, and a little bit honest with ourselves. And it's boldly ambitious of me to ask you to do this, especially at a party, at a bar, an open bar, where we're drinking. But I want to teach you tonight about thinking and about yourselves. So I ask you, may I teach you something tonight? Fuck yes, I love learning. I love learners. Let's learn together. The way I came upon these 3 powerful enemies blocking you from the next zero in your business is quite interesting. After 13 years of being in direct response marketing, 9-figure copywriter, grower of 3 successful direct response brands, as the trajectory goes, I began to coach. People sought my coaching so that they could make more money, personally, and in their business. And they, like that I would be coaching them on marketing skills to help them make more money, personally, and in their business. Here are some of my people right here, by the way. But what I quickly discovered was the real things that were holding them back from making more money. Things like overpromising and under-delivering, not just to your clients, but to yourselves, to your customers, to your partners, and to your team. Things like disclarity, which would lead you to copying everybody else. TikTok ads, they say I gotta get on TikTok ads now. 7, 8-figure business owners doing this. 10-minute VSL? Drop everything. We need a 10-minute VSL stat. Of course, I put the arrow in one direction, but most things in life are bi-directional. So overwhelm also leads to disclarity. The other thing, hitting ceilings, repeating cycles. Laura, I keep launching 6-figure offers. Why? Why has none gone to 7? Why do you keep doing that? Which may lead you to so much frustration, you end up breaking things. So I realize if I really want to help people make more money, which I do, which I geek out so much on that I literally run down the stairs at 2 a.m. in my underwear and do a lap around the house, that's real imagery called from my real experience. I need to help with this. And when people ask me, Laura, how did you do it? It's because I constantly and in an ongoing fashion work on this. It is raining for me. So I ask a deeper question. Where do those things come from? A lot of places. But for our purposes, we'll start with hell fucking yeah. Uncertainty. Not knowing what you really want or what you really want for the business. Is it any surprise that you fuck up when you go after what you think you should want, but not what you really want? They come from negotiating with ourselves. Can I do that? Should I do that? Would that be fair? They come from love of the familiar. That's where all those patterns come from, those cycles. We love the familiar. We will choose the familiar even if it sucks, because it is safe. At least we know it. And we will especially choose the familiar if it is decent. That is your real fucking enemy right there. Decent. Which may all lead to variable confidence, right? Pretty confident in one area, not so much in another, don't quite know what to do about it. As God claps for me. So again, if I really want to help people make more money, I need to help them with this. Which forces me to ask it again. Where do these behavior drivers come from?
By the way, I have an incredibly valuable free gift for you. It's called the 6 Simple Mindframe Shifts that can add an extra zero to your business. This guide is potent. It is something that every entrepreneurial person needs to see. Go check that out at mindframe.me.
They come from the three enemies that I'm going to talk to you about tonight. Sound good? Awesome. Enemy number one, being prey to your way of being, AKA, it is your fault. Quiet. It's so funny in marketing. We teach all the time. Tell them it's not their fault. Tell them it's not their fault. Yes, it is. Of course it is. Thank God, because now you have power. I hope everything that goes wrong in my business is my fault, because then I have the power to fix it. If it's my team's fault and I have to rely on my team to fix it, it would be great if they did, but it's not something I want to bet on. I would rather bet on myself. So I want to change the connotation of fault into power. It is your fault. Thank God. Your way of being is a philosophical term. It embodies many things. But for our purposes, it embodies your language, both the said and the unsaid. I can't, I would need to, they want me to, things like that. That language is a very powerful indicator of your internal wrestlings. I'm going to teach you how to take a look at them and what to do about them, which of course bleed into your stories and interpretations of events, which further blend into excuses and blame. I was coaching with a CEO of a 7-figure business. He was telling me about a launch that went wrong. I was like, speak some more about that. He said, my team should have. Your team should have. You know what that's also an example of? Dichotomous thinking. One or the other. My team should have. I shouldn't have done anything. If you are a leader, it's possible your team screwed up, but you definitely did. And it is never one nor the other. When we're calm, this may all seem to make sense, and you may all nod your heads and agree. But in the heat of the moment, we all make these mistakes. And at greater costs, the more we grow. Operating from your past. So if you are that CEO, that client of mine, who is trying to now make up for the flopped launch, what might you do? You might rush. You might compromise yourself. You might become leverageable. And you are not playing with your complete power because you are reactionary. So we got to check that. Before I get to the friends and the other side of this particular enemy, I have to admit something to you. My own coaches tried to push me off of this work. They would rather I not teach it. It's a better model, I suppose, to give you the dopamine hit of an answer, especially an answer that has nothing to do with you. But I cannot do that because I have two goals on this stage in the goddamn pouring rain, which are to be useful and look cute. That's it. That's all I want to do. Be useful and look cute. I know I got one in the bag already. So I cannot bullshit you, which is convenient because the friend of this enemy is to become a bloodhound to your bullshit. By which I mean, your business will not improve until your behavior does. For some, that will feel invigorating. For others, it will feel terrifying. And for others still, it'll feel like eat your vegetables. So that's why I'm up here tonight to teach you about thinking, and thinking in particular about your behavior. So how do you become a bloodhound lovingly to your bullshit? You observe your thoughts, emotions, and language. I do a visualization when I'm feeling intense emotions, as it is reasonable to feel, of them going by me on a conveyor belt, like you're at the supermarket, for whoever still may go to a supermarket. Frustration going by me on a conveyor belt. What does that do? It detaches the emotion from me. I am physically above it. It is a perspective. I can decide what to do with it and what actions to take next. Sometimes it's most appropriate for that frustration to simply fall off the end of the fucking conveyor belt. And it's done. Sometimes it's more useful for me to analyze it further. And that is what I'll do. You need to take inventory of those patterns. We'll start there. I am here to open loops for you. Resist the urge to quickly close them. The whole point is to start thinking. So what are your patterns honestly? What has happened to you over and over again honestly? What have you done over and over again honestly? Write it down. I dare you. Most of you would rather do 30 fucking burpees in the rain right now than do that. But this is more leverageable. Given those patterns, can you dip a toe into the unfamiliar that you desire? So if you want to get that six-figure company to 7, what would that first toe be? It's different for all of you. But what would it be? And in your personal life, for example, if you want to do something more fulfilling, like take a painting class or an improv class, can you dip a toe in that? Can you schedule it? Can you buy the paint? Or will you go to the bar with which you're so familiar? Taking that painting class has a high probability of helping you make more money, by the way, for reasons I won't get into tonight. What the fuck do you really want? I know a lot of you in here. And when you get in rooms and groups or rainstorms and communities like this, and everybody's like, I'm crushing this, I'm crushing that, they're giving you the highlight reel, we're doing this much, it's very easy to feel like, I should want that. But I also know a lot of you in here, and I know that you would love a delightful, consistent, six-figure operation. You work 20 hours a week. Maybe you have one virtual assistant, and you spend time with your family. How fucking perfect. How delightful. What clarity. How solvable. But when you're going after something you don't really want, is it any surprise you fuck it up? No. Instead of dichotomous thinking, we use spectrum thinking, all things, all the time. As an example, one of my clients, very successful in one industry, moving into another, she says to me, Laura, I keep asking myself, why me? Why would somebody listen to me instead of somebody who has 10 years of experience in this field? They can listen to both of you. It's not one or the other. And maybe the person with that 10 years of experience shares some regurgitated information. Probably. Doesn't mean it's not useful. But what about your freshness, your curiosity, your novelty, your unique perspective? So ideally, they would listen to both. One switch from dichotomous to spectrum thinking got her to take action in the new thing she was interested in. She had a better understanding of why her, why not any of you. And when we get really ninja, by the way, we'll start assigning probabilities to this shit next time David is brave enough to have me on here. If everything in your life was showing up for you, what would you do with it? Notice the way I asked this question. It's very intentional. So many people would love to get into a debate. Is manifestation real? Who cares? Who fucking cares? Can you use it? Is it useful? If everything in your life was showing up for you, what would you do with it? So if I see the number 22, you know what? Let's make it 23. 23 for Jordan. If I see the number 23 everywhere and it motivates me, it makes me happy, it confirms for me that I am on track, fucking fantastic. And if somebody would say to me, Laura, that's not real, you need to be a bloodhound to their bullshit because they're trying to downregulate you to play at their level. And when you're awake and attuned, you will not allow that to happen. And lastly, instead of operating from your past, trying to prove your third grade teacher who might be fucking dead already that you really can do it and you really are smart, how about being pulled by the future that you want? So if the happy future that I want is pulling me towards it, what actions will I take? It's a great filter. I make good decisions when I'm thinking this way. Is this useful to everyone, all of my wet friends? Awesome. Good. I'm glad. Because we will move into enemy number 2, which is feeling like you need to catch up. Who, when we get in these groups, feels like, oh shit, I need to catch up. Everybody's doing this, they're doing that. Fuck, why haven't I done that? God damn, I know I should be doing it. Why haven't I done it? I need to catch up. And here's the rub about that. Because once you start to feel like you're catching up and you're with the pack, then you feel like you have to get ahead. So the rush never goes away. So feeling like you need to catch up, of course, includes rushing. You're playing out of your power when you're rushing, aren't you? You're trying to beat your best constantly. 8-figure business owners, we had our best month ever. Let's beat it next month. Best is a superlative term. It's hard to beat by definition. You are playing out of power. You're taking uncalculated risks. It is a strategy to get wrecked. I don't recommend it. Wanting more. More is great. In a lot of ways, I'm a maximalist. Don't get me wrong, but more is not solvable. There is no end to it. And a non-existent or totally haphazard time horizon. I want to be a millionaire this year because who wouldn't love to be a millionaire? And a year is like a unit of time. No real thought, no real intention behind it. And in most cases, too short of a time frame for you to achieve what you really want. So the friend to this is putting attention, thinking on our intentions. For example, setting a solvable goal, clearly defined, mathematical. $10 million in revenue by X date. Tie that into how many people that has impacted. Break down the milestones from there. How do we break that down into chunks? What's chunk number 1? What's goalpost number 1? Number 2? So on and so forth. You communicate this to the team. You open every single meeting with it. You have a North Star. This enables both you and your team to make better decisions and take better actions because now everything is filtered through, will this get me closer to that? Yes or no? With a decent probability. That means if you have this and you're moving towards it, you should feel way more empowered to say no to everything that does not have a decent probability of getting you towards it. In other words, saying no is saying yes to the right thing. Instead of constantly trying to beat your best, which will come, if you stay on track, it'll come, start beating your worst. For a lot of you in here, this is your extra 0. Beat your worst. Your worst is easy to beat. Worst quarter? Yeah, fuck yeah, beat your fucking worst. What happens if you keep beating your worst? What happens if you keep beating your worst? That's a trend. The trend is up. The trend is moving towards your North Star. So look at your worst month, your worst quarter, your worst year. What happened? What went wrong? What do we do? How do we fix that? How can we not have that happen again? And it's way easier than beating your best. So you do get your precious dopamine as well. All of this translates into being closer to that North Star instead of the endless pursuit of more. That was enemy and friend number 2. Are you still liking it? Sweet. Awesome. Because I did have to throw in a supplemental friend to be, keeping time on your side. It's reasonable and understandable that humans are shit at thinking long term. It was only 200 years ago, we literally would have all been dead by now. Average lifespan was 35 years old. So it's okay. I work on this. I'm not saying I'm a master at it. I work to think longer term. I push myself to think longer term. And I invite you to do the same. Because when you do, you can account for setbacks, randomness, and variability. 2 things guaranteed in life, the passage of time and randomness. But if you have a short horizon and you face a setback, you will have to rush and you will get wrecked. But if you have a long time horizon, you can account for the setback, learn from it, and build the systems and strategies to help insulate yourself from its damage should it occur again. Make sense? This is challenging stuff for a lot of people, so I'm glad David pulls together a smart crowd, as always. Ow! Mild enthusiasm. In other words, it allows you to remain adaptable. And I hope you can see how a lot of these principles could potentially help you in your identity and in your personal life. For example, I'm a parent. Any other parents in here? Yeah, fuck yeah, parent life. I have a 4-year-old. I would rush her all the time. Eden, we gotta go to bed. Let's go. In, get your clothes on, let's go, we gotta get to ballet. In, let's go, we gotta get to the pool. I would rush her to relax. So I have shifted that. I tell her, we have time. I give her the gift of relaxation and time. And I invite you to do the same. Because it also gives you time to learn what is needed and what you need to learn. Which will bring me to my third enemy, and she may be the biggest motherfucker of them all. She encompasses all the rest. Shifting into a fixed mindset. Not fixed in your sense of abundance. Not fixed in your sense of resources. But fixed in your learning, thinking, and growth. This happens at the conglomerate level. Look at Blockbuster. They become fixed in their learning and thinking. It is the source of your cycles and your upper limit problems. Laura, I keep launching six-figure offers. So I would ask you, what do you need to learn to stop doing that? And I hope it's a logical leap to see where the disclarity and confusion could come from if you are not learning more in your organization. If you have become fixed in this capacity, which is challenging for successful people to do, by the way, because you're skilled and you're smart and it's gotten you far. So to realize, I need to learn something, might feel like an ego hit, but it's more empowering than you could ever imagine. Because the more I learn, look the fuck out for me. So, the friend, of course, of this enemy is, next slide, please. Reclaiming your growth mind, which is very possible you had in the beginning of your career. What does that look like? Next slide, please. Here is my question to you. What would be useful for you to learn next? I know a lot of you in here. Some of you have the answer in common. Some of you have a different answer. I do not have the answer. I'm surprised they still let me on this stage. I have so few answers. But I hope to have good questions. What would be useful for you to learn next? Maybe it's how to acquire a company, or how to merge, or how to get VC funding. Maybe it's how to build culture, a team. Or maybe it's quite simply better social skills. I know a handful of you, so those are what I offer as potentialities. What would it be useful for you to learn next? Not something that gets you diminishing returns, though. Not something easy for the sake of your ego. Not how to fix the copier or how to do video editing. Not a $10, $20, even $100, $500 an hour task. I propose that would not be the most useful thing for you to learn. And in my example, I'm a poker player, right? I'm a winning player. I win more than I lose. For me to get to the next level of playing poker would require a lot of time and effort. And I'm not a professional. I only play casually. If I wanted to do it because I'm passionate about it, sure, but they're diminishing returns. So instead, I call to you to look for what you might learn that can get you exponential returns. What could you learn for 1 hour, 1 week, 1 month that will change your business and your life forever? Exponential returns, which ties into, of course, constant mentorship. Very cool dude at my last Diamond Day event. His name is Chris Fox. Chris Fox has like 8 of the top performing offers on ClickBank right now. He does $500 million a year. You know what he walks up to me and says? Laura, I'm looking for a mentor to take me from 500 million to $1 billion. His extra zero. This is your extra zero right here. He is looking for what he can learn next that's exponential. So who would it be useful to learn with is the question I pose to you. And in conclusion, these are mantras I tell myself. With an appropriate time horizon, with consistently showing up and exponential learning, you will always be on track. And my links to follow on social are also there. And the link is there if the QR code doesn't work for any reason. You could grab these slides. Of course, I'm going to be hanging out. It looks like I get to walk out and still be dry, which feels fair to me. Thank you guys so much for your attention and time.